What if the people who hurt you didn't break you? They positioned you for the breakthrough that's been waiting on the other side of your pain. There are moments in life when silence screams louder than words, when the people you trusted most become the source of your deepest pain. You've been lied to, betrayed, rejected, maybe even abandoned, and in the quiet aftermath, you're left holding the weight of wounds no one else can see. You smile in public, but your heart is bleeding in private, and you've asked yourself over and over again, why would they do that? Why was I the one who had to suffer? And where is justice for what they did? If you've ever been there, or maybe you're standing in that place right now, this message is for you. Not just to comfort you, but to awaken something within you. Because what if the hurt wasn't meant to break you, but to shape you? What if the pain has a purpose far greater than your understanding? And what if the way you respond to that pain determines the kind of strength, peace, and healing that unfolds in your life? This isn't just a talk about pain. It's a revelation about how destiny can rise from the very wounds meant to destroy you. This is about how the unseen hands of justice are always moving, even when it seems like the guilty walk free. It's about how letting go isn't giving up. It's taking your power back. And most of all, it's about how you are never alone in your suffering, never forgotten in your silence, and never without hope, even in the most broken moments. So I invite you to lean in, open your heart, and walk with me through this message, because by the end of it, you may just discover that the pain that once threatened to define you has only refined you. Stay with me. This might be the word your soul has been waiting for. When someone wrongs us, especially in deeply personal ways, everything in us wants to rise up and take matters into our own hands. The pain feels fresh, the offense feels unjust, and the heart cries out for retribution. In those moments, there's a part of us that believes if we could just make them feel what they made us feel, maybe justice would be served. But this desire to retaliate is not the path of faith. It is the path of flesh. For those walking in spiritual truth, there is a higher way, a way that surrenders justice to the one who truly understands it. Justice is not ours to enforce. That may be hard to accept, especially when you've been betrayed, slandered, or mistreated. It may feel like letting go of justice is the same as letting the guilty go free. But justice that is born out of anger, pride, or a need to get even is not justice. It's vengeance in disguise. And vengeance corrupts the soul of the one who carries it. It turns victims into perpetrators, wounds into weapons, and robs us of the peace we claim to seek. True justice isn't impulsive. It doesn't act out of rage or bitterness. It moves with perfect timing, with full knowledge, and with divine precision. When we try to enforce justice ourselves, we do so with limited understanding. We don't know the full story, we can't see the depths of someone's heart, and we're rarely in the right state of mind to act without causing more harm. Justified in our emotions, but they don't always have power over us, and our worst enemy is our righteous in heart. In the sacred texts we are reminded time and again that there is a time for everything, justice included. The one who sees all, knows all, and understands all is never blind to our suffering. Not a tear falls unnoticed. Not a whisper of pain goes unheard. But the response to that pain doesn't always look the way we want it to. Sometimes, instead of thunder and fire, justice comes quietly, through conviction, through consequences that unfold over time, or through an unseen hand that turns the tables when no one is looking. When we choose to release our grip on revenge, we are not letting the offender off the hook. We are placing them on the hook of real accountability. we are trusting that wrong will not triumph forever, that harm done in darkness will be exposed in light, and that no act of cruelty or betrayal goes unchecked. That kind of trust takes faith. It takes courage. It takes a heart that's more interested in healing than in harming back. There is also wisdom in understanding that our own perspective is not infallible. Sometimes what we perceive as a personal attack is rooted in someone else's pain. That doesn't excuse their behavior, but it reveals the complexity of the human heart. If we were to go around trying to punish every person who ever wronged us, we would become enforcers of our own flawed version of justice, one stained with emotion, one blind to grace, one incapable of redemption. That's why surrendering the role of judge is so important. It frees us. It unchains our minds from the exhausting cycle of revenge fantasies and emotional replays. It allows us to breathe again, to focus on healing, to move forward without dragging the past like a weight behind us. When we step back and choose not to fight fire with fire, we make space for something greater to step in, something that can actually bring change, correction, and restoration. There's a sacred strength in trusting that justice is not being ignored, but rather being handled by hands far more capable than ours. When we walk in that truth, we find peace not because the situation is perfect, but because we are no longer prisoners to it. We live above offense, we walk with clarity, and we release the need to control what was never meant to be ours. There are moments in life when the pain we endure feels pointless. Betrayal cuts deep, disappointment drains the soul. The wounds inflicted by others, whether deliberate or careless, can leave us questioning the meaning behind it all. It's in these valleys of confusion and hurt that we often cry out, "Why? Why did it happen? Why now? Why me?" These questions echo in our hearts when circumstances seem unfair, and answers feel distant. But the truth is, even when it doesn't make sense, even when everything inside us aches for clarity, there is always a bigger picture. The journey of faith is not one of perfect understanding, but of confident trust. Trust that nothing is wasted. Trust that even the pain has purpose. What we see is limited to the moment, but what is happening goes far beyond the present. A seed buried in the dirt may look dead, forgotten, or discarded, but with time, pressure, and the right conditions, that very seed breaks open and brings forth life. In the same way, what feels like a breaking in us might actually be the beginning of something being birthed. When someone hurts you, especially deeply, it can feel like a derailment, but often it's a redirection. That broken relationship, that harsh word, that moment of rejection, it may have been allowed not to destroy you, but to develop something within you that could not have grown any other way. Strength is forged in the fire, wisdom is born in the wilderness, and compassion is often found in the same place where we were once crushed. The pain we endure can actually become the platform for the purpose we were created to walk in. There is a refining that happens through hardship. It removes the excess, the pride, the illusions we carry. It reveals who we are and whose we are. Sometimes the only way to move forward is through the discomfort of letting go. And while the hurt caused by others may feel like a curse in the moment, it may in time be recognized as a gift in disguise. Because what hurt you may have been what also saved you. It may have kept you from a path you were never meant to travel. It may have opened your eyes to truth you would have otherwise missed. It may have exposed weaknesses you needed to confront in order to grow. It is not easy to accept this when you're still bleeding from the blow, but perspective changes everything. When you begin to look back and see how the worst moments led to your greatest transformations, You begin to trust the process. You begin to trust that even in chaos there is divine order. You begin to believe that what was meant for harm can truly be turned for good. This doesn't mean that what was done to you is right. It doesn't mean that the hurt should be minimized or dismissed. Pain is real. Injustice is real. But so is redemption. And sometimes the most powerful redemption is not in what is restored, but in what is revealed through the trial. It's in the strength that rises from weakness. It's in the peace that surpasses understanding. It's in the ability to look at the same pain that once threatened to destroy you and see it now as something that shaped your destiny. The bigger picture isn't always visible in the middle of the storm. It often comes into focus only after the clouds have cleared. But it's always there, working behind the scenes, aligning things for your good, removing people who were never meant to go with you into your next season, shifting circumstances that seemed stable but were silently sabotaging your soul. The hurt may have come suddenly, but the healing that follows carries eternal weight. When you embrace the truth that nothing in your life is random, you begin to walk differently. You stop wasting energy trying to make sense of every wound, and you start asking, what is this shaping in me? That question opens the door to deeper transformation. It turns your pain into preparation. It shifts your focus from resentment to resilience. And it reminds you that every story has a purpose, even the chapters you wish never happened. There is something profoundly powerful about mercy. It is not the absence of justice, nor is it a denial of pain. It is a deliberate, courageous choice to respond to wrongdoing in a way that reflects a higher nature rather than our human impulse. Mercy does not make light of the offense. It does not say, what you did was okay. Instead, it looks at the wound, acknowledges the hurt, and then says, I will not let this turn me into something I'm not. When someone hurts you, the natural reaction is to fight back, to withhold forgiveness, or to seek ways to make the offender feel what you felt. But in that place of brokenness, mercy becomes a sacred weapon. The world tells us to protect ourselves at all costs, to strike back quickly, and to never show weakness. But mercy is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is the ability to destroy but choosing instead to heal. It is the capacity to punish but choosing instead to restore. It takes far more strength to offer forgiveness to someone who wounded you than to harbor bitterness in the name of self-preservation. Bitterness may feel like armor, but it slowly poisons the one who wears it. Mercy, however, frees the heart. It opens the door to peace. Even while justice is still unfolding in unseen places, when you extend mercy, you declare that the offense will not define you. You rise above the cycle of offense and revenge that traps so many in a lifetime of emotional bondage. Mercy doesn't mean there are no consequences. It doesn't mean boundaries aren't needed. But it does mean that your soul refuses to be chained to anger. It means your identity is not rooted in being a victim, but in being someone who chooses love over hate, grace over grudges, peace over punishment. Many believe that extending mercy is giving the offender a free pass. But mercy is not for their benefit alone. It is for yours. Holding on to offense keeps you reliving the moment of pain over and over again. It robs you of rest, steals your joy, and clouds your vision. Forgiveness, birthed through mercy, is what allows you to reclaim your life. It does not erase what was done, but it loosens the grip it has on your future. It gives you back your voice, your peace, your purpose, and how mercy works. The one who shows it often receives more healing than the one who offended. It softens the heart that was becoming hard. It restores clarity to a mind that was growing bitter. It opens doors to new beginnings instead of staying trapped in cycles of blame and pain. Mercy transforms not only relationships, but also the person who carries it. It is a force that breaks generational curses. It is a light that shines in the darkest places. It is a reflection of a divine character that chooses redemption over retaliation. Showing mercy does not mean trusting blindly or ignoring patterns of abuse. It means dealing with others according to wisdom and grace. You can forgive and still walk away. You can let go and still set boundaries. Mercy is not about pretending the pain wasn't real. It's about refusing to let that pain have the final word. It is about deciding that love is stronger than the hurt, and peace is more valuable than pride. There will always be moments when someone will try to provoke you, insult you, or betray you. In those moments, the flesh will scream for revenge. But the Spirit invites you into something deeper, a quiet, steady strength that knows who it is and does not need to prove it through retaliation. Mercy is that strength. It is the unexpected response that confounds your enemies and glorifies the one working in you. When mercy becomes your default, you become a living example of grace in motion. You become someone who, though wounded, walks with power, someone who chooses healing over hostility and freedom over fury. That is the power of mercy. There is a profound assurance in knowing that nothing done in secret stays hidden forever. Every whispered word, every quiet betrayal, every concealed offense may seem to escape notice for a season, but in time the truth always comes to the surface. It is a spiritual certainty that whatever is sown will eventually be reaped. Those who have been wounded in silence, those who have suffered behind closed doors, and those who have cried tears that no one else saw, can find comfort in the truth that exposure is not a matter of if, but when. Often the deepest wounds come from what others never see. A smiling face may hide manipulation, a charming voice may conceal cruelty, and behind the appearance of kindness may live selfish ambition or harmful intent. And when we are on the receiving end of that kind of hidden harm, it can feel isolating. People may not believe you. The offender may look innocent or even noble in public. You may even begin to question your own discernment, wondering if you're imagining the pain that seems invisible to the world. But spiritual truth stands firm. Nothing done in the dark stays hidden forever. There is an unseen justice that works behind the veil, bringing light to every shadow. There is a time and a season for everything. There is a season for quiet endurance, and then there comes a season of unveiling. Those who act without accountability may flourish temporarily, but that season does not last. There comes a point when truth breaks through, like morning breaking into the longest night. And when it does, there is no force strong enough to keep it covered. The masks fall, the lies collapse. The stories spun in darkness unravel before the light of truth. It may not happen when we want it, and it may not look like we imagined. But it happens in the way and time that brings both justice and redemption. This principle should comfort the afflicted and humble the comfortable. For those who have been hurt in secret and watched their offender thrive without consequence, take heart. You are not forgotten. Your pain has not been overlooked. Every word spoken against you in secret, every scheme carried out in shadows, every action taken behind your back is already known by the one who sees in secret. Your silence in the storm is not a sign of weakness. It is a mark of trust. Trust that truth will rise. Trust that what is hidden will be revealed. Trust that the one who works in truth is also working on your behalf. For those who may have caused harm in hidden ways, this truth serves as a call to repentance, not fear. It is not only a warning but an invitation to step into the light voluntarily before the light exposes you. It is far better to confess and be healed than to be exposed and brought low. Those who live by manipulation, deceit, or control often forget that they are not as hidden as they believe. The eyes of people may be fooled, but the reality of truth cannot be avoided. What is built on lies eventually collapses. What is rooted in deception will be torn up. No legacy lasts if it is constructed in the dark. Knowing that nothing hidden stays hidden forever calls us to a life of integrity. It calls us to walk in the light, to speak truth even when it costs us, to treat others with honor even when no one is watching. It reminds us that character is not built in front of crowds, but in the quiet decisions of daily life. And for those waiting for justice, it brings peace. You don't have to force exposure. You don't have to chase revenge. You don't need to orchestrate a reckoning. It will come. And when it does, it will come with clarity and purpose. Not as a storm of chaos, but as a wave of truth, washing away everything false. So when you're hurting from what no one else can see, hold on to this truth. The unseen is never unknown. The hidden is never beyond reach. What has been done in darkness will not stay in darkness. Your healing is on the way. Your truth will be known. And the same light that exposes wrongdoing will also reveal your strength, your endurance, and the grace that carried you through. There is a weight that comes with being hurt. When someone wounds you, through betrayal, lies, rejection, or abuse, it creates a deep internal pressure that doesn't go away on its own. It lingers in the mind, echoes in the soul, and quietly alters how you see people, how you trust, and how you engage with life. Many carry this weight for years, believing that holding on to the offense somehow protects them. It can feel like a shield, or even a form of justice. But the truth is, holding on only deepens the pain. True healing comes not through revenge or resentment, but through release. Release is not forgetting. It's not pretending that the wrong didn't happen. It's not brushing the offense under the rug or minimizing the depth of the wound. Release is about loosening your grip on the anger, letting go of the need to see them suffer, and stepping away from the cycle of mental and emotional replays that keep you stuck. It's about choosing freedom over fury, restoration over retaliation, and peace over prolonged pain. Release does not make the offender right, it makes your heart whole. The challenge for many is that letting go feels unfair. If they caused the damage, shouldn't they pay for it? If they walked away without apology, shouldn't they be haunted by guilt? In our human reasoning, letting go feels like letting them off the hook, but in spiritual reality, you are not setting them free. You are setting yourself free. You are releasing yourself from being tied to a moment, a person, or a pain that no longer deserves authority over your life. Every time you rehearse the hurt, you open the wound. Every time you plot revenge in your heart, you allow the one who hurt you to keep control over your peace. But when you release it, the healing begins. There is great wisdom in knowing that not everything needs to be resolved by your own hands. Not every offense requires your retaliation. Not every person who wronged you needs to hear your side of the story. Some battles are won not by confrontation, but by surrender. Surrendering the offense to a higher justice, surrendering the pain to the process of healing, and surrendering your heart to the one who mends what was broken. This kind of surrender is not weakness, it's spiritual strength. It takes more courage to walk away from bitterness than to live in it. When you choose release, you choose to reclaim your future. You are no longer stuck in what happened. You are no longer defined by who left, who lied, or who failed you. You are free to walk in peace, to grow, to laugh again, and to love again. Release removes the weight so that you can rise. It allows joy to re-enter. It allows clarity to replace confusion. It gives you the emotional and spiritual space to become who you were meant to be, not who the pain tried to make you. Forgiveness is often the pathway to release, and forgiveness does not require the offender's cooperation. It is a personal decision to stop carrying the offense and to entrust the outcome to a higher hand. It is the declaration that your soul is more valuable than your grudge. It is not instant, and it is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Some people carry offense for so long that it becomes part of their identity. They don't know who they are without the anger. But once release begins, a new self is discovered, a self marked by peace, resilience, and grace. There is a spiritual principle that what you release will be restored in greater form. When you release offense, you gain strength. When you release bitterness, you gain clarity. When you release revenge, you make room for joy. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough about your future to not let your past control it. You were not created to be a prisoner of pain. You were created to walk in freedom, in wholeness, and in purpose. And that freedom begins when you stop gripping the offense and open your hands to healing. In this journey of understanding how the divine handles those who hurt us, we've walked through the valleys of pain, the tests of patience, and the power of perspective. We've seen that justice is not ours to carry, that pain has purpose even when it doesn't make sense, that mercy is stronger than revenge, that hidden wrongs are never truly hidden, and that release is not weakness, it's the path to healing. Though the wounds may run deep and the scars may remain, we are not left alone or without hope. We are called higher, not to react but to respond, not to retaliate but to rise. The one who walks in peace, in forgiveness, and in faith is never powerless. In fact, they are the most powerful person in the room, because they have chosen to trust the process, surrender the pain, and walk boldly in grace. Thank you for allowing me to share these truths with you today. Your hearts, your time, and your willingness to reflect deeply mean more than words can express. May you walk forward with renewed strength, deeper peace, and the unshakable confidence that you are seen, loved, and held, even in the places no one else sees. Keep rising, keep healing, and never forget, there is purpose even in your pain. Bless you all.